Monday, 24th April 2017. This is Heritage World News. I am Bolawala Makinde. Preliminary results from France's first round of presidential elections confirm that centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron and nationalist anti-immigration candidate Marine Le Pen are headed into a runoff in 2 weeks, marking what analysts describe as a political earthquake in France. It is the first time in the history of the modern French Republic that the presidency will be held by a member of a non-traditional party, highlighting a deep anti-establishment sentiment that ultimately could determine whether France remains a part of the EU or follows an independent path like that of post-Brexit Britain and the United States under Donald Trump. According to projected results, Macron garnered 23.8% and Le Pen won 21.7%. The winner needs an absolute majority, and that will be determined in a runoff on May 7th. Macron, a 39-year-old centre-left former economy minister who is pro-EU, pro-business, led pre-election polls despite his previous association with unpopular socialist president François Hollande. The appeal of his year-old En Marche onward movement lies mainly in France's prosperous urban areas, where globalism has benefited many. His challenge is to galvanize support of centrists and the left, including members of France's fractured Socialist Party, and convince voters he does not represent an extension of Hollande's policies. Macron will face Le Pen and her National Front Party, whose strongholds are largely in formerly industrial areas of France where unemployment is high, and so is disillusionment with the modern economic and social order. Le Pen, who wants France out of the European Union, has succeeded in winning over large numbers of former leftists and centrists. Over the next 2 weeks, he hopes to draw from the right and the center, especially those who are most disillusioned with the status quo. Among the top contenders from 11 candidates was former Prime Minister François Fillon, a center-right social conservative whose bid was damaged by allegations of creating fake jobs for close relatives. Conceding defeat on Sunday, he endorsed Macron. The vote happened amid tight security following a terrorist attack in Paris just days before the poll that observers thought would benefit Le Pen. On Sunday, 50,000 police officers, backed by 7,000 soldiers, including special forces, were deployed to the streets amid tension following the attack claimed by the Islamic State terrorist group. The shooting along the iconic Champs-Élysées in the heart of Paris led one police officer dead and several other people injured. North Korea has detained another U.S. citizen, a university accounting professor in his 50s, in the country to teach and discuss relief activities. South Korea's Yonhap news agency said Tony Kim, who also goes by his Korean name Kim San-duk, was arrested at Pyongyang International Airport. Kim taught accounting at Pyongyang University of Science and Technology for about a month, according to school's chancellor Park Chan-mo. Kim had taught at Yanbian University of Science and Technology in China before teaching in North Korea. The U.S. State Department said protection of U.S. citizens was one of its highest priorities. But the United States has no diplomatic relations with North Korea and works with the Swedish embassy in Pyongyang to try to free detained Americans. Park said he was told Kim's detention had nothing to do with his teaching in North Korea, but did not know further details of his detention. North Korea did not immediately comment on the arrest. Kim is the third American held by the regime of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at a time of tense relations with the United States, which has dispatched a naval strike group to the waters of the Korean Peninsula as a warning against Pyongyang's continued nuclear weapons development program. The North Korean government, in violation of UN decrees, has conducted numerous missile tests and 5 nuclear tests, with a 6th possible soon. On Sunday, North Korea said it was ready to sink an aircraft carrier, the USS Carl Vinson, which is the lead ship in the U.S. Naval Strike Group, to demonstrate its military might. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said on Saturday the naval ships would arrive off the Korean peninsula within days. Last year, Otto Warmbier, a University of Virginia student, was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor in prison after he confessed to trying to steal a propaganda banner. Kim Jong-chul, born a South Korean but believed to have U.S. citizenship, is serving 10 years of hard labor for subversion. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is warning those who want to destroy Israel and the Jewish people that they will be destroyed themselves. Netanyahu spoke at Jerusalem's Yad Vashem Memorial to 6 million Jews on Holocaust Remembrance Day. He said this lesson from the Holocaust guides him every day, and that the lesson is also the supreme duty of every Israeli Prime Minister. But he said there are many cases in which the world did not learn the lessons from Nazi Germany's attempt to wipe out the Jewish people. Sunday's ceremony included 6 Holocaust survivors lighting 6 torches while the traditional Jewish prayer for the dead, Kaddish, was recited. In New York, President Donald Trump told the World Jewish Congress that the mind cannot fathom the pain, the horror, and the loss of the Holocaust. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the Congress that the modern form of anti-Semitism is the denial of Israel's existence. He said Israel needs to be treated like any other UN member state. The Security Council voted in December to condemn Israeli settlement activity as harmful to the peace process. The United States, under former President Barack Obama, abstained rather than vetoing a resolution critical of its most important ally in the Middle East, angering Israel. Israel's annual Holocaust Remembrance continues on Monday morning when at 10 o'clock local time, sirens will wail as the entire country stands in 2 minutes of silence for the victims of Hitler's genocide. In Nigeria, the first civilian governor of Osun State and serving Senator Isiaka Adeleke is dead. He was aged 62. He died in the early hours of Sunday at Biket Hospital, a private hospital in Oshogbo, after succumbing to a protracted ailment. A correspondent of the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, at the residence of the former governor in Ede, reports that the atmosphere was tense as his corpse was brought in at about 1:10 p.m., preparatory to the Islamic burial rites at 4 p.m. A huge crowd of sympathizers and family members were seen weeping uncontrollably on sighting the corpse of the late flamboyant politician and socialite. A 2-term senator, Adeleke won the Osun West senatorial seat on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in 2007. He, however, defected from the PDP in the build-up to the 2015 general elections and won again on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Still in Nigeria, former military governor of Kaduna State, retired Colonel Abubakar Dangiwa Umar, has said the continued detention of former National Security Advisor, NSA, retired Colonel Sambo Dasuki, shows that the anti-graft war of President Muhammadu Buhari is too selective to destroy the opposition parties. In a statement issued on Sunday, Umar noted that it was over 1 year since 3 law courts, including the ECOWAS court, granted bail to Dasuki, but the Nigerian federal government refused to release him, citing the untenable excuse of grievous nature of his offense, even when the constitution is clear on the issue. The former military governor also pointed out that the decision by the federal government to suspend the secretary to the federal government, David Babachir Lawal, and the DIG NIA Ayodele Oke, while they are being investigated without being detained, was a welcome development in its war against corruption. Umar said for the corruption war to be meaningful and sustainable, it must be elevated beyond a President Buhari personal struggle to a national one. A 12-year-old boy who drove 1,300 kilometers across Australia on his own in the family car was involved in a crash before he was eventually stopped by highway patrol officers. The boy was en route Perth when he was pulled over at Broken Hill in far west New South Wales on Saturday morning, some 1,300 kilometers into his journey. He had earlier left his home in Kendal on the state's east coast about 11:10 a.m. on Friday. Detective Inspector Kim Fehan said he had taken the family car. Highway patrol officers stopped the car when they noticed its damaged bumper. His parents had reported him missing immediately after he left home and were looking for him. Officers are still investigating why the boy took the car and attempted to cross the country. Highway patrol officers stopped him after they noticed the car's bumper dragging on the ground. Deputy Inspector Fehan confirmed the car had suffered some damage. The boy was arrested and taken to Broken Hill Police Station and has since been released to his parents. A police spokesperson said there is a possibility it could be dealt with under the Young Offenders Act. Meanwhile, some people on social media have praised the illegal driver's efforts, calling him a pretty clever kid who deserved a gold star for effort. And finally, in sports, manager Arsene Wenger believes Arsenal answered their critics with a strong and united performance as they beat Manchester City to reach a third FA Cup final in 4 years. Alexis Sanchez scored an extra-time winner as the Gunners came from behind to win 2-1 and reach a record 20th final and an 8th under Wenger. Wenger, 67, has come under more scrutiny this season than at any other time in his 21-year reign at Arsenal, with the Gunners lying in 7th place in the Premier League and on the receiving end of a 10-2 aggregate thrashing by Bayern Munich in the Champions League. The Frenchman is out of contract at the end of the season and has been offered a new 2-year deal, although he is yet to announce whether he will continue. Some sections of Arsenal fans have protested against Wenger in recent months, but the manager was pleased to see his side rally after falling behind to Sergio Aguero's opener. Sanchez and Mesut Ozil have been linked to moves away from the club this summer, and the Chilean highlighted his importance with his 24th goal of the season, which settled the tie. Alexis Sanchez has scored 7 goals in 9 FA Cup starts and has scored 4 times at Wembley, more than any other Arsenal player. Wenger expects the former Barcelona forward to extend his stay at the Emirates. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola said he had no regrets after seeing his side beaten, a result which means the former Barcelona and Bayern Munich boss will end the season without a trophy for the first time in his coaching career. And that has been Radio World News on Monday, 24th April 2017. I am Bola.